fuzzball.
You are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of master.
Who's scruffy looking?
Happy Star Wars Day, everybody, and thank you for tuning into the very first episode of our brand new Star Wars talk show, the Jakku Junkyard. I, of course, am your host. My name's Nick, and I am joined, as always, by my lovely co-hosts.
Jesse! How's it going, everyone?
I'm Jake.
So basically, we are three Star Wars nerds that love the series, we love everything about it, and we talk about it all the time. So we figured, why not film it and open the discussion up to the swirling masses of the internet. So, without further ado, let's get started. The subject of today's video is very important because just a mere 3 or 4 hours ago, we got our very first look at Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker. This is episode 9. We just got the teaser trailer. I personally loved it. I got chills. It brought tears to my eyes. How about you guys?
Man, I watched the trailer for the first time. I was at work. I left my little cube box that they keep me in. Mm-hmm. I snuck into the cafeteria to watch this trailer as soon as I could. And I'll tell you guys, it gave me chills. It really did give me chills. I thought it was a phenomenal trailer. Jake, what about you?
Yeah, I thought it was a great trailer. Not as good as maybe the Last Jedi teaser, but great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So let's address a big elephant in the room before we really start breaking things down. Last Jedi, although the three of us pretty much love that movie. We think it... Yeah. Obviously, we got the poster over there. We're big fans.
Represent.
Seems to be, if not an unpopular opinion, a divisive opinion to have. Do you think that this movie, based on the little bit of information we saw today, is going to bring any of those people that are dismayed by the current state of Star Wars back into the fold? Or do you think that they're currently... there's nothing that they can do to bring them back to these movies?
Yeah. Me personally, I think that those people are not as strong in their convictions as they like to admit. I think 90% of them will see this trailer and say this looks awesome and be very excited. But as always, when we're dealing with the internet, there's always going to be those 10%, 5 to 10% that will be the loudest, most obnoxious, most annoying, and will hate this movie no matter what. Just like there were people who hate Force Awakens, and there's people who hate The Last Jedi. Yeah. There's people who hate more than half the Star Wars movies and still call themselves mega Star Wars fans. When you say you hate Force Awakens, you hate The Last Jedi, you hate the prequels, and then you're like, well, I guess technically I only like a third of the
one's
movies.
pretty good.
Yeah, the first, that's my personal thought. I think a lot of people will see this trailer and get really excited, but we're always going to get those loud, obnoxious people that hate on it. What do you feel, Jake?
Yeah, I think the trailer does enough. I think they kind of focus more on some fan servicey stuff with the introduction of pretty much Palpatine coming back in some form.
Yeah.
And having the Death Star destroyed and whatnot in the background. So I think Lucasfilm, in a way, kind of listened a little bit, at least, and tried to be like, yeah, let's sprinkle some of this stuff. I mean, we don't know how they're going to use this. I don't want to say fan service yet, but bringing back a classic villain is definitely going towards that idea.
Right.
Of being like, yeah, let's kind of service some of the fans in here a little bit.
Yeah, I think a lot of the fan service is a big takeaway from here, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe that's...
Well, it depends on how they use it, because I think, The Last Jedi has a lot of fan service in it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But just not in like a conventional sense.
What it looks like to me
it's
is
not Luke Skywalker doing backflips. That's not the type of fan service that really served that story, so Rian Johnson didn't do it. So it depends on how they use the fan service and how they bring him back and how Palpatine kind of relates more to the story and not just to, let's see him do cool stuff and whatnot, so...
Yeah, this does seem more like a traditional Star Wars movie in that sense. Like, I think something that a lot of people were missing in The Last Jedi was that they didn't get to see Luke do the cool Jedi stuff that they thought they were going to see. After seeing the prequel movies and seeing Jedi do backflips and seeing Yoda bounce around like a rubber ball, I think they expected a little bit more out of the lightsaber battles and everything. And just by that first scene that took up, like, I think even more than half the trailer alone, it looks like they're going to do that with Rey backflipping over Kylo's tie
TIE
and
fighter, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So cool stuff. Do you guys want to get into actually breaking down the trailer and talking
Yeah.
about what we think it means?
Let's do it.
Cool. So for fear of the mouse kicking down our door and shutting us down before we even really begin, we're not actually going to play the trailer for you guys in this video. We're just going to talk about it. But I have written everything down scene by scene so we make sure we don't forget anything.
Right.
So the trailer opens up. We have just Rey heavily breathing. She looks like she's about to stare down some sort of
itself.
formidable force. Yeah,
Death
Yeah, it looks
itself.
like she
She's
was
staring down death itself.
Yeah,
It looks like she was psyching herself up for some
and
some
th-
type of battle.
and then you hear it. You hear the sound of like a TIE fighter zooming in from the desert. And then over that we have what I believe is new dialogue from Luke Skywalker
Yes.
saying, I've taught you everything.
Right.
There's thousands of generations before you. Blah, blah, blah. So that's all well and cool. It kind of implies that there's at least some sort of interaction with Luke in
Yes.
this movie from beyond the grave or whatever. So we'll probably see Force Ghost Luke at the very least. That could also, though, I think in episode 7 in that teaser there was a Luke rant. It was dialogue from an old movie.
But it was
though,
dialogue
but
from
it
an old
wasn't
movie.
dialogue.
This is new dialogue.
Yeah.
So to me, that very much points to maybe if we don't. I do think we will actually see Luke Skywalker's Force Ghost. I don't know how much of it. I don't think we're going to see a ton of it.
I think it'll be a cameo.
But I do think, kind of similar to when in New Hope when he's flying the X-wing towards the Death Star and he hears Obi-Wan's voice.
Yeah.
That's the kind of impression I got from this.
I personally think it'll be more like how much we see him in between Empire and Return of the Jedi,
Right.
where there's maybe a couple shots in the movie, but I also am going to make a bold prediction. I think you're going to see him talk to Kylo Ren as well.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think he might have a bigger role than what you were saying.
Right. Well, I'm saying it more of like in a physical sense, where he's like
Oh, yeah, I don't
physically
think we're
walking around
Yeah.
a lot in the movie. Like I think that they know that that'll look a little doofy. So I think for actual him being a physical apparition of himself will be kind of limited to the similar ways they've used that in the past, with like Yoda not being in Last Jedi. He was like that Force Ghost, but it wasn't like in a ton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was more, like you said, almost more like a cameo type of thing. But his voice and his presence will be felt. I definitely feel like throughout the majority of it.
Another thing is first shot, and as he's speaking, camera pans down. The lightsaber seems to be put together again.
Yep.
So that's an interesting
And
development because are we going to see her put it back together, or is it going to be explained?
So this is a good time to bring this up. If you watch the whole panel that led up to the reveal of the trailer, they asked about the lightsaber, and Daisy Ridley kind of was dodgy about it, and then said the Skywalker lightsaber lives. So she confirmed that right there, and then
Sure.
it's prominent in the trailer. It's obviously Anakin / Luke's / Rey's lightsaber. So
So did she duct tape it together? Is it super glue?
well, it looked like the crystal broke when it broke in
Right.
The Last Jedi, so maybe that's why they're going to the Death Star in the first place. So the Death Star's lasers are powered by kyber crystals, which also power lightsabers.
See, this is why he's hosting the show.
This is
folks.
why you're hosting the
He
show.
is a
'cause
Star
you
Wars
know-
expert.
You know all the crazy stuff.
Well, you know what? I've wasted a lot of my life on
On
Wikipedia
So you
and
think-
reading these books.
So you think they're going to the Death Star to fix?
I don't necessarily
the
think that's
lightsaber?
what they're doing,
That could
but
be
I
a
think
potential
it's,
reason, though.
yeah, it depends on the chronology of things. Because they also said, I don't think they gave us an exact period of time that's passed between movies, but J.J. Abrams did say some time has passed.
I think the
Between
only
8 and
we got
9.
like the words "quite some time."
Did he say quite some time?
I think he said
quite
quite
some time.
I think he said quite some
I
time,
like
which
the idea
maybe
of it.
means more than a year.
That's what I'm hoping. I really want to see a galaxy where, what does Kylo Ren being in control look like?
Right.
I think that would be cooler than just like, oh, it's a couple months later.
Yeah.
Let's get that guy.
But we also see him. I don't want to jump ahead. But we
But
also
yeah,
see
let's
him
go.
putting-
Let's go in order.
Okay.
So
Jake, come on.
yeah, we just talked about. We see the lightsaber. She ignites it. She does that sick like running ahead
Yes.
a little bit. Then you see Kylo Ren's awesome one of a kind fighter, and there's got to be a better way to steer a ship, right? Than just like the two arcade handles that he twists. But still very cool.
Oh, he's speeding up.
Yeah, he's
It's
speaking.
true. You get to see Kylo Ren in his new costume. Should be noted, Rey's costume just kind of looks like it always does. She's
Well, it
got
looks
that
a lot
weird
more
It looks
tunic,
different. It
but
looks
it's
white.
white. It was whiter.
Yeah, it's definitely new. It's
Yeah.
the same style of
And
clothing.
also, you got a really good look of it at the end, the last shot. But like a very big hood,
Yeah.
a very Jedi-esque hood
Yeah.
was a part of it. And it looks a lot more angelic.
I didn't
more,
notice the
more
hood.
Christ-like
That could be a lot kind of like what
Look.
Ahsoka wears.
look.
At the end of Rebels, she's got like a big white cloak with a huge hood, so
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. And you get the text, every generation has a legend. That gave me chills.
Yeah,
So,
I liked a lot.
I thought that was
pretty much
pretty
all
cool.
the yeah.
That warmed my heart a little
it
bit.
did.
Yeah.
yeah.
So now that's the first half of the trailer, but there's a lot more to talk about in the second half
Yeah.
because they just kind of start throwing imagery at us. So you get a few quick shots. We've got this dark, wintry looking planet
Yeah.
with a ship flying down over like a mountain range into, what was it, some sort of city?
looked
There were
like a
lights.
city.
Yeah. Didn't look like it was the Falcon. So could be a new ship. Could be a ship of little importance, and they just wanted to show us the new location. But worth noting. Then you see what appears, it's very red. It's like a forest burning down or something, and there's Kylo Ren just clotheslining a
Yes,
dude.
that was one of my favorite sequences. Is just
Yeah.
see that like kind of, it's very rare. Like a lot of the previous Star Wars movies, like and one of my favorite things about this current trilogy that we have is with the prequels was very floaty, kung fu samurai master, jumping around, very like they were dancing,
It's very wushu.
wushu. Yeah, this is like very powerful, very impactful.
Yeah.
All the hits always seem like very focused on power and destruction,
Yeah.
and that's something I was really shown and evident with that shot with Kylo Ren. And I always felt like even the fight scenes with the battles with Rey, she also fights in that style of a very impactful, powerful type.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Instead of this formal, they're not formally trained really.
Mhm.
Right. These new movies have kind of reinforced kind of like the brutality.
Yeah.
Less
of these
acrobatics,
lightsaber-
more
Yeah, it's
raw
more about
power. Yeah, it's cool.
And
I'm a fan. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
and it kind of it's more Gaelic and medieval
Mhm.
type of fighting,
Yeah.
which is really cool because we haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
Before it was all very Asian inspired. Samurai in the original trilogy, wushu in the prequel trilogy. Now we have this medieval.
It's
approach.
worth noting that it doesn't look like Kylo Ren just like Darth Vader would have just cut that dude in half. We've seen him do that on multiple occasions now. Kylo Ren made a point to kind of go with his arm and kind of the flat part of his lightsaber with that weird handle it's got.
Yeah, it's like
Well,
he stabbed him with a handle.
He stabs him with the
That's
handle.
Oh, he did
That's
stab
what it
him.
looked like.
Okay.
And that's what it looks like.
It's hard. It's
it
just
was
such
hard
a
to
quick
see.
shot.
Yeah, I got the impression that he was intentionally trying not to stab him and was just trying to push him down
Right.
I think
So-
he was using that guard and
to get
That's
him
what
to
it looked
push
like
him
to me.
off,
into
like,
little
like,
bits.
showing off its
Yeah.
ability
Yeah.
in really close combat quarters. That guard thing has more use than just looking
Right.
cool.
Yeah,
So
it's such a cool lightsaber.
It is a
It
great
is a cool
lightsaber.
lightsaber.
I remember thinking there's no way they give us another they gave us a double blade. What else are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Give us 3 blades? So that was pretty cool. And the next thing we see after that is Kylo Ren's helmet that he wore in Episode 7 and the very, very intro to Episode 8 being welded back together. Not by Kylo, but by some sort of, was it an alien?
Alien, it had furry arms.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he probably commissioned it to be
probably
welded
commissioned.
back together, but it looks like he will at some point wear that helmet again.
Now, you say Kylo Ren commissioned it to be. Maybe this is jumping out a little bit,
Mhm.
but maybe it's somebody else commissioned
Oh,
it.
maybe some
As
big
like-
villain that
like a
gets
big villain
yeah.
that may possibly be revealed later in the trailer.
Yeah.
Is the one who gets a commission as this way to manipulate
Mhm.
Kylo Ren and to
do
bring
we get,
him back.
Do we get a
into
Kylo
something-
Ren impersonator?
Maybe. Here's the thing, though, and this is a little spoilery. There was a leaked poster. If you're watching this video, you've probably seen it. It was last week, maybe the week before,
Yeah.
that showed showed off Star Wars Episode 9. We didn't think it was real at first.
No, we did not.
No,
Because it didn't have a title, it just said Star Wars on the bottom. But I'm wondering if that was just something they showed off from the mural. There's this big mural at Star Wars Celebration, and part of it was covered up. That
Okay.
where Episode 9 should be, so I'm wondering if it was just that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, it could have been
you did see Kylo Ren had his helmet, Adam Driver wasn't anywhere else on the poster, and
Right,
it was all cracked, like it had been glued back together.
Yeah.
So, interesting stuff. I'm wondering if they chose to put the helmet back on as kind of symbolically showing Kylo Ren, he started to make sort of a change, breaking out of Darth Vader's shadow in the beginning of the 8th movie, and now maybe he's kind of retreating back to that safe spot
Right.
now that he doesn't have to prove himself to anybody or so
Something
he
like that,
thinks.
yeah. That's what I kind of.
Yeah,
Could
and
be.
he broke that helmet more out of anger and frustration
True.
because Snoke is sitting there mocking him.
Yeah. And then he
so-
killed Snoke. So now
And
he's
then he
kinda
kills
like,
Snoke. He's like,
Shut
"Well,
up,
I'm gonna put my-
Dad."
Yeah, you were wrong.
I want my helmet back.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
Darth Vader. I'm gonna put my helmet back on.
Interesting though,
Yeah.
because now he theoretically has the resources of the entire galaxy at his disposal. That he
Right.
didn't just get a new helmet.
He's
made.
very powerful.
He's like, I want that.
That's
helmet.
His helmet.
Yeah,
That's what I want.
that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
So a couple more quick shots here. You just see Finn and Poe standing around some rocks, looking out at something in the desert, and then you see BB-8 and his new little sidekick Dio, who is adorable and I love him. He's like the little Pixar robot. He looks like a lamp on a unicycle. It's great.
Yeah, that's cool.
Then you see, this is a big one. This one has people talking, and I know you have words about this. You see the Millennium Falcon in all of its glory being piloted by none other than Mr. Smooth himself, Billy D. Williams. It's Lando Calrissian wearing the yellow, what appears to be the yellow tunic from the Solo movie. He's got the headset on. He gives his hee-haw. You see Chewie's in the co-pilot seat.
Right.
Very cool to see him back in action. No porgs in the Falcon
porgs.
apparently.
No
So
porgs.
Wait,
I'm
that
sorry.
doesn't mean we got 2 shots of them.
I said
we got
apparently.
one shot
No,
of the
they're
Falcon.
gone. They're gone.
they're gone. You're calling it. They're
Well,
gone.
Well, I think they're gone too. But
I'm sad, but listen, they're giving
giving
us
it to you
Claude,
straight.
and Claude's my new toy. So
I don't think Lando wants the Porgs, nesting in,
Yeah.
Right.
his Millennium Falcon.
Right. What are you giving to us straight?
I'm going to do straight.
Oh, the porgs thing.
Porgs are
Yeah.
gone.
All right, Pete. All right, porgs. All right. So.
Well, Jake, did you have a thing
oh
to
yeah,
say
you got a
about
hot
Lando?
take.
It's not really a hot take. I just,
Okay.
I don't know. I feel
I'm
the
glad-
heat right now, dude. I'm really coming
I just
out.
want to say I'm glad to see Lando back. I just thought he looked a little ridiculous wearing that same costume from the Solo movie.
Yeah.
That,
It's like
that
he's squeezing into his old
shit.
football uniform.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks a little tight on him. It just looks a little.
But isn't that something Lando would do? Like,
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
not give up.
Now that you mention it,
not,
maybe.
You'll be sensitive about his age and just be
Maybe.
like, "What do you mean I can do this?" As a kooky old man.
I mean that.
I'm not
If they
saying
go
you're
with
right.
that,
He
if
does
they
look
go
silly.
with that type of character for him, yeah, I'd be all for that. Just from the one shot that we saw, it just looked a little ridiculous to see him piloting.
I will say it didn't
So-
look fantastic. It didn't look quite like seeing Luke back in action.
Right. But I mean, I love Lando in the original trilogy, but does he really play like that huge? You know what I mean?
I think it's a big deal in Episode
Yeah, I
5.
think so.
Yeah.
And I think originally Billy D. Williams
would-
was told that he was going to be kind of like the new Han Solo type if
Right.
Han didn't come back.
Right.
So, but here's an interesting thing to just kind of think about. Would Lando even be in this movie? Would they have given Billy D. Williams the call if Carrie Fisher didn't die?
I think so.
You
I
think
think
so?
they would have. I don't think that
Yeah,
would
I think-
change it.
I think the Millennium Falcon has been playing a big part of this
Mhm.
trilogy, and its history, the Millennium Falcon's history, is very much tied to Lando. And I
Right.
think by the end of this movie, I think Lando is going to be. I think the relationship between Lando and Millennium Falcon, that relationship is going to come to a
And I feel like
fruition. As weird as that sounds, because it's a ship and a
right.
guy, but I think we're going to see maybe him take the Millennium Falcon into the sunset at the end
Right.
of this episode.
Right.
I definitely feel like reintroducing Lando in a really big part in Solo
Mm-hmm.
was probably a bigger to do about them wanting to bring Lando back.
True.
Yeah.
For this film. So I think that if you needed the proof that they were thinking about this for years before the passing
Mhm.
of Carrie Fisher, that I feel like Lando being a not just a part in the Solo Stars, pretty big part. It's a
Right.
role. But yeah, that's all I know.
That's cool. It's just the only reason I really bring that up is because I thought I read somewhere that Ryan Johnson said they had considered giving Lando the role of the guy with the flower pin from Episode 8. But then again, I think that maybe if they were planning this all along, they didn't do that because they wanted Lando to have a bigger part, than
yeah.
just be some guy they go
That
to
would
on like a
have just
fetch
been a
quest.
cameo. But
Yeah. Yeah. So they're doing his character justice. It looks like, which is really cool, and that's a big deal. It seems like from the panel, it's really important to Billy D. Williams too. He said that this was one of like the highlights of his life was working on this movie.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So glad to have you back, Billy. What's next? Where were we? So next you just get to see some desert speeders getting shot at and blown up, and dudes with jetpacks flying out of
We
the
see
smoke.
some stormtroopers with jetpacks.
Were they
coming out of
troopers?
the smoke. They look like troopers. They were wearing like white armor.
Cool.
So
Well, that's cool. Get some some jetpack troopers in there. You see them wear the jetpacks like in background shots, I think, and like even maybe just the re-releases of the original trilogy.
Right.
But we don't get to see them do anything cool with the jetpacks.
Yeah,
so.
they've always had something on their backs, but we've never really known what those backs were.
And all those kind of shots, again, I think it just reiterates that they're really trying to drive home that this is going to be a much more like action-packed movie than some of the previous ones. After a lot of Episode 8 was just a slow motion chase. Now it's like that was a fast motion chase.
Right.
All right, so then you get to see 3PO and Finn and Poe on it appears to be that same battle on like some weird little like pirate ship looking barge.
Yeah, that was a cool shot.
Speeding around 3PO's holding on for dear life as Finn and Poe look all badass. I'm glad to see those two doing their thing together, getting to be like the cool buddies that they are, and hopefully they're even closer now that it's been some time together. And,
And well, during the panel, they were kind of hyping up the romance
they
between
were,
Finn and Poe.
and I couldn't tell if it was a joke or if if it is real, then that's awesome. I think it's great to get that representation in there.
It was real.
But they've already set up the thing with the stuff with like Rose and everything.
True.
So Rose and the new character. What was that girl's name? I can't remember her name, but those two characters who were both on the panel were not in the trailer at all. That makes me think.
But there were shots of Rose. There were like screens. Like
they show their costumes and everything, so they're definitely in the movie, which is good. Maybe they're playing a little bit less of it. She is playing a little bit less of a part, or maybe they're just trying. They know that there's like. For whatever reason, there's a lot of people that don't like her character, so maybe...
I personally think she will still be in the movie a lot.
Me too,
I think the trailer
too.
Was almost like a fake out to be like, well, let's really focus on this.
I think they want as much positive as they can.
I still think, Finn, Poe, and Rey, and Kylo Ren, like, they're the core four. Like, they're the core of the story. Yeah. But I still think that, even in Last Jedi, Rose was she was a side character.
Yeah, she's a supporting character.
And she was a supporting character in that, and I think she'll have an equally... screen time wise, it'll be similar to the amount of time she had last year.
And her character at the end of the movie was left in like a coma or something.
Yeah.
So maybe they don't want to reveal
exactly what
happened.
Her face happened.
True. Cool note, by the way, during the panel, when Kelly Marie Tron was introduced by Stephen Colbert, the place erupted in applause and everything, which is great because
awesome.
She deserves it. She's been doing a good job. I personally love the character of Rose.
Yeah, she's a great character.
I thought she was great. Yeah.
So then after that, you just see like it looks like an A-wing or some type of new version of A-wing getting shot down along a long shot of what appears to be maybe like a dreadnought or a Star Destroyer or something. Yeah. So obviously some pretty big battles, and the ships are going to be a part of that again, which is great.
So new ship that we haven't seen before, maybe attached to a new character.
Yep.
So maybe that might be the new character that they introduced today.
Could be, yeah. Maybe. I think Rose's squadron that she was a part of, I think they had a lot to do with... Oh, no, never mind. Those were B-Wings. They had not A-Wings. Were they B-Wings? The bombers.
The bombers.
Yeah.
She flew the bomber.
Yep. So now, after that, things start to get real juicy because we see just this weird gold medallion being held by the hands of what appears to be maybe an older person. That's what it looked like to me. So I think it's Leia.
Hands, so I think it might be Leia.
I don't know what that medallion was. It looked like it might have been some maybe the New Republic symbol or maybe some sort of Jedi artifact she's been holding on to for some reason. And then you see her and Rey hugging and a close-up of Rey's face with a tear coming down her cheek.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're reusing footage from Leia's previous movies and not just being like, she died!
Right.
I think that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, I'm really interested in how they kind of craft that into this movie and work around that.
I'm thinking there must have been some unused footage they had where she was like, "You're gonna be the next generation of heroes," and maybe they're bringing that back. So,
J.J. Abrams on the panel did say that they had extra footage from The Force Awakens.
So they're essentially taking extra footage from both films.
I don't know how much The Last Jedi had.
Oh, he specifically only said Force Awakens. He did not.
I thought maybe I'm wrong.
He said Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, her stuff on The Last Jedi was all either on a ship or in the bunker on Crate.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the hands real quick.
Mm-hmm.
They could be Princess Leia's, but they also they don't look. I don't know. They didn't look like grandma hands, you know?
They didn't look that old.
Yeah, they didn't look that old. But there was another new character that they didn't introduce on the panel, which is an older white woman. So maybe
Could be her too,
maybe
yeah.
That could be her.
Right.
Who might be on the poster, because there's that other character with the
yeah.
with like the purple and the black, the mask.
We should post a link to
Looks
this
kind of like a
poster
bounty hunter.
in the comment, or in the info.
So maybe that was missing from this trailer and from the panel.
Yep. So that was pretty cool, and I think just focusing in on her crying was just a nice little,
It was nice to
in
see.
memoriam to Carrie Fisher, truly a legend, and the world is a worse place without her. And then we have the big final thing, and this is the big reveal from this trailer that I feel like they kind of hinted at during the panel, because they were saying, like, this is they're on an adventure to fight the ultimate evil, and Stephen Colbert was like, what's the ultimate evil? And they were all like, ooh. So, very funny. Stephen Colbert killed it, by the way. He was an excellent host. So you see what appears to be, well, you see the whole crew. It's Rey, Finn, Poe. Chewie's in the background with C-3PO, BB-8, and Dio, notably missing from all this action and the trailer entirely is R2-D2.
Yeah,
They kind of just sort of replaced R2 with BB-8, it seems, and which is cool, but it's also a little bit of a bummer to me.
I'm sure he's
definitely in it, but anyway, then you see they're looking out over something. You see what they're looking at, and it appears to be Death Star 2 submerged in the ocean. It's the wreckage of the Death Star, and you hear Luke's monologue come back in, and he says, "What were his exact words? No one's ever truly gone."
Yeah.
It fades to black, and you hear that famous cackle.
Yeah.
That is Emperor Palpatine, Darth Sidious himself, and then we get the title reveal: Star Wars. The words separate, and you see the rise of Skywalker, which it's a name. I'm not super crazy about it, but I like it more that I think about it.
Yeah.
And it's a name.
Yeah, as for the name, I don't think it's, out of everything that they showed today, to me, the most disappointing, the weakest part is the name. I don't love the name. I loved The Force Awakens, the name, name-wise for the earlier trilogy, the first two movies of the trilogy.
Yeah.
Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, they felt like Star Wars names, but something about putting Skywalker in the name of the movie itself. I understand what they're going for as, like, this is going to be the last Skywalker movie, so I think their logic was, let's put it in the title because this is it.
Yeah.
We're never going to get the opportunity again. From what we're all taking in is that this is the end of the Skywalker saga, which makes it even more interesting that it's called Rise of the Skywalker, which kind of brought me thinking, and I don't know if we want to really get too deep into this right now.
I do, actually. I was just about to bring this up.
Okay.
So.
Maybe we're on the same page on that, but it seemed like a very biblical allegory about, will Luke be like this Jesus figure where he rises from the grave, like we know time has passed, and I feel like Star Wars has always been about mythology and like taking these things from history and mythology and bringing it back together. The first thing I thought when I heard Rise of the Skywalker, and you're hearing Luke Skywalker talk, and you think to yourself, well, he leaves The Last Jedi in a very, sacrificial, martyr way, not really directly shadowing or mirroring, the Bible in the way Jesus Christ is kind of put to the stakes, but I don't know, that's I don't know, how are you guys feeling on, that possible?
Well, for the name, I'm with Nate. I'm not really as crazy about it. I also wasn't really crazy about the Last Jedi name at first either, because it kind of went away from the Empire Strikes Back, they attacked the clones. It went away from that formula, and I'm kind of like a purist. I wanted all the names to kind of have that same ring to it. But after watching The Last Jedi and seeing how important kind of those words became for the movie and for the themes of the movie, it grew on me. So I'm hoping that they do the same thing with this new title, and they kind of really incorporate it into the themes of the movie.
The names always make a lot of sense once it's over. I mean, obviously, A New Hope. It's like, hey, the universe is in
The Force Awakens,
bad state. Yeah. Or literally The Last Jedi. You could interpret it in a couple different ways. Right. I think, and this is my theory here, and this is going to get into a little bit of speculation about these movies. So, if you're watching this like 2 years from now, don't flame me in the comments when you see how wrong I was. But the rise of Skywalker could mean a couple things. Metaphorically, like, this is the rise of Skywalker. They finally won. They triumphed. It could mean that maybe it's a redemption story for Ben Solo, although his name isn't Skywalker. It could mean literally. I mean, if Palpatine is maybe back in some way, maybe Luke or even Anakin could return in some way alongside him. Or maybe Palpatine being back has to do with them coming back. Maybe he followed them out of the afterlife or whatever. It could also mean, this is an interesting theory that I saw on the internet, that Rey, knowing that her parents are nobodies or whatever, and she doesn't know their names, maybe she adopts the name of Skywalker. So it's the rise of Rey Skywalker. So, I mean, it could go a lot of ways, and I'm very interested to see what it's going to be. I'm sure once the movie's all done and it's settled in, it'll hit us like, oh, okay, I get it.
We're probably all wrong.
They tend to be very literal.
Yeah.
Like, the Force awoke within Rey. She's now the last of the Jedi.
Yeah.
The Empire struck back when they got Han, etc., etc.
I would say about the sunken Death Star, which I remember seeing concept art back in the Force Awakens book. So that concept was an original Lucas. That was before Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney. He had concept art of a sunken Death Star, and people scuba diving in there looking for something, or for artifacts, or for the Vader mask.
Yeah.
So, you know, I like that this movie is kind of not afraid to like go back and actually do those early concept art.
You're right.
And The Last Jedi does it too with Luke Skywalker. You know, people make fun of Rian Johnson for ruining his character, but in those early artwork promos had a very reclusive Luke Skywalker portrayed. So it seems like these movies have kind of been quietly
taking bits and pieces.
Yeah, since there didn't seem to be an hugely overarching plan for the trilogy, they were like, oh well, let's see what Lucas was actually doing and go back to those original artworks.
Even if he's not working on the movies directly, he still planted the seeds that.
It looks like he's. It seems like he's. Yeah, as you said, his seeds have kind of been planting. His ideas have been sprinkling throughout this trilogy, which is good.
Yeah,
good to see.
A couple of quick thoughts on the Death Star while we're talking about it, and Palpatine. The Palpatine laugh might not even mean that Palpatine's going to be in the movie. Right. It could just be like, hey, it's the Death Star, remember that guy? And if I'm not mistaken, they've used Palpatine's voice in trailers before. Because in the Episode 8 trailer, didn't they have... Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I seem to remember there being a lot of speculation that you heard like the... Yeah! And it was like his yell when he launched himself over the table at the team of Jedi that came to arrest him in the last act of Episode 3. So they could just be using that, but the reason I think that he will be of some importance to this movie is because if you watch the panel, everybody's cheering, the trailer's over, it's great, and then these red lights come on, and you see, what's his name? Ian McDermott or something like that plays Palpatine. Like that. Yeah. He's standing and just like looking all sly. Yeah. And then he says like, roll it again. Yeah. And so the fact that they were hinting at this like big evil. You
have the cackle, and then he also comes out earlier in the panel. They're saying there's a big evil, there's mysterious evil, and right now all we have is Kylo Ren, who has he really established himself as this overarching evil presence?
Right.
No, he hasn't. And the only thing with Snoke dead, the only thing in the Star Wars universe, if you're really going to try to drive that home, is Palpatine, and we never technically saw him actually dead.
Yep.
You know,
right, he was just thrown down the chute. We don't know.
I feel like there's also, on top of that, I'm reading online, a lot of people be like, how are they going to explain him coming back? I'm like, well, does it matter? Like, it's Star Wars. I mean, there's Force Ghosts have already been a
He could be a Force Ghost.
He could very easily rise as a Force Ghost. Like, and all these people are like, well, how are they going to explain that? That's so stupid. Like, whatever.
There's Episode 8 concept art of, I think it's of Luke, we'll ignore that for now. It's Luke sitting in front of the fountain or whatever in Octo, and you see a red ghost behind him. So there was concept art of a Force Ghost, but I think Rian Johnson ultimately decided that should be a principle.
Of a red Force Ghost.
Yeah, that maybe Force Ghosts can only be good guys. Yeah, but maybe Palpatine, maybe JJ's gonna kill that rule because
Right.
that's not. It's just a thing he said. It's not something they struck down. J.J. Abrams did say he's not gonna walk back anything Rian Johnson
Right.
did, which good because
Yeah.
we don't want that. But
And just because he's putting back together a helmet.
yeah, it's
Cool your
come on,
jets.
guys.
Cool your jets.
Anyway, before we wrap things up today,
Well, I just want to say one more thing, going back to the concept art, especially Lucas's concept art. There was a couple of images of a half Anakin, half Vader Force Ghost.
that's true.
So I thought that was that was
Yeah.
super badass.
I wanted that this whole time,
and
so.
I would love to see that.
Just give
Up
Hayden
here.
Christensen a little bit of love, guys.
I think he's gonna be. He's around this celebration because they're celebrating Phantom Menace.
I think he was on set for each of the last two movies, and somebody said he was doing some kind of sword training. You're probably not going to see him do anything with a sword, but I would love to see him reprise the role, even if it's just like another kind of like the scene at the end of Return of the Jedi,
Right.
where you see the Force Ghost. If that's all we get, I would like to see him pop
Yeah.
up.
I don't have this like kind of hatred or vitriol for him at all. I mean, did he give the best performance throughout those two movies? Probably not.
No, but George Lucas also famously doesn't really know how to
Can't-
direct people.
He was
He's not good
also
with dialogue.
a young actor who wasn't like he was a nobody. Like he was
Yeah.
an up and coming actor that people were saying like this kid's gonna be big. So
Mhm.
can really be who he won like awards and stuff as a child actor. And at the end of the day, I love those movies, and I think that they deserve to be represented. If this is truly going to be the end of the Skywalker saga,
Yep.
he should. If Darth Vader's in it in any way, I think Hayden Christensen should be.
I think
Absolutely.
he's
I mean,
going to
he
show up.
is Darth Vader now,
Yeah.
whether you like that or not, So a couple things. We got to wrap this up in just a couple minutes, but I want to drop a quick theory on y'all. So Palpatine is back. We'll go with that for now.
I think he's definitely back. I mean, they would have
Right.
put
It
him
was
on
too
the-
much of a setup.
They would have
for
put him
to just
on the
fake you
stage
out.
if he wasn't like.
So then we're gonna go with the assumption that Palpatine's back. We know from the expanded universe up to this point, and they did mention the expanded universe in the Colbert interview beforehand. They talked about the Rose book that Kelly Marie Tran narrated, the audiobook for before this. So I think they're being much more careful about what fits from the expanded universe into the movies now. And something they've been hinting at since like the journey to Force Awakens was that Palpatine was searching for some sort of like great dark power beyond the known regions of space.
Okay.
So just a thought. That was Snoke. And we know Snoke was a very powerful Force user because we've seen him do things we've never seen other people do.
Right.
He was able to throw Hux around on the floor from across space.
Across space, yeah.
So, I have this kind of like cool like yin and yang theory that like maybe if Luke is teaching Luke teaching Snoke. If Luke is teaching Rey from beyond the grave, maybe, or guiding her in certain directions, maybe Snoke was teaching the ghost of Palpatine from this side of the grave. So you kind of have those two different dichotomies, I guess, if that's the word, working. I think it would be kind of a cool concept if that's what happened, or if it's not, whatever. But it's kind of fun. One more thing, we did not see Chewie's new friend, Claude.
Right.
Claude.
He's in the leaked poster. He also was talked about very briefly in the panel, but they showed a picture of him. I'm all in on Claude. Claude is a combination of actors in suits and puppetry, apparently, is what they said. And he's like this big dumb frog thing, and they said that Chewie brings him on board. They made a point to say that. So I like the idea of Chewie being like, I've got it, and he brings Claude. This big, fat, goofy, like, binya pollywog guy. I love it. The goofy aliens.
Also, no Knights of Ren.
No Knights of Ren in the trailer.
So still hoping that they show up in some form.
Yeah.
We see some action.
We'll see. Or at least maybe some sort of thing like Kylo Ren talks about what the Knights of Ren is. And if they don't, it's not the end of the world. But the fact that they went out of their way to show them to us in Rey's weird Force vision makes me think that they have to show up this time. Rian Johnson said he wanted them in Episode 8, but it was already just so packed there wasn't room.
Yeah.
And he also confirmed the Praetorian Guard, the red guys from Snoke's throne room, not the Knights of Ren. That was a popular theory. So, Cool. Well, that's it, guys. That's a Star Wars celebration. Today was day one. The big day, obviously, is the movie, but we've got a whole weekend full of news coming our way.
Yeah.
On Saturday, we get information on the game from the
Fallen
people.
Order!
Fallen Order. It looks awesome. They
That
revealed
one poster,
the poster.
One poster that was
was great.
released
Yeah.
got me very excited.
Yep.
Titanfall, the creators of Titanfall are making it, so I have all the hope in the world. It's going to be great.
So we'll have to do an episode on that. We'll do a discussion about that, as well as Sunday is a day I'm very excited for.
Yeah.
We're going to get our first look at The Mandalorian, which is the original series for Disney Plus about a Mandalorian, the guys that wear like the Boba Fett armor, as well as news on the Clone Wars. And who knows what other kind of like little surprises. There's stuff going on all over Star Wars, guys. There's new sets being shown off for Destiny. Something people aren't talking about so much this year is the 20th anniversary of Lego Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 1999, 2019. So big stuff, guys. I guess that's it for today. Thank you very much for tuning into Jakku Junkyard. If you like this discussion, please feel free to subscribe to this video, thumbs up the video, turn on that little bell icon so that you get notified.
You don't subscribe to videos, you subscribe
Did
to
I say
channels.
subscribe
You
to
said
video?
videos.
I'm old.
Channels.
I don't understand how the internet
Subscribe to
works.
channels.
Right.
YouTube has been around since you were like 14. You know how it works.
Right.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna.
I think I actually
You're not
know that.
old. You grew up with.
You grew up with YouTube,
Right.
so you
I
know.
also have a mush mouth and a mashed potato.
Well, now
brain,
that
so-
I have no.
Okay.
Yeah.
excuse for.
Anyway, yeah, guys, the other thing is drop a comment in here. Do you have any theories about the poster? What are your thoughts? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let us know. And until next time, may the Force be with you.